Hello, English listeners, and welcome back to Easy English Talk Daily, where learning English is easy and fun.
I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Hi, everyone. It's really nice to have you here with us today.
It really is. How are you doing today, Jack?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm a little tired, actually. I was in the kitchen for quite a while last night.
Oh, really? What were you making?
I made a big pot of soup, vegetable soup with carrots, potatoes, onions, celery. It took longer than I thought, but it was worth it.
That sounds delicious. I love homemade soup, especially when the weather gets cooler.
Me too. There's something comforting about a warm bowl of soup, isn't there?
There really is. And actually, that's perfect because today we're going to talk about cooking.
Yes, cooking. It's something we all do, or at least we all need to eat, right? So cooking is a big part of everyday life.
It is, and it's a great topic for practicing English because we use so many common words and phrases when we talk about food and cooking.
Exactly. So today, we're just going to have a relaxed conversation about cooking. What we like to make, what we don't like to make, and maybe some funny stories from the kitchen.
I have a few of those.
I'm sure you do. We all do, I think. So, Emma, do you cook often during the week?
I do, yeah. I try to cook most nights. Maybe. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Hi, everyone. It's really nice to have you here with us today.
It really is. How are you doing today, Jack?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm a little tired, actually. I was in the kitchen for quite a while last night.
Oh, really? What were you making?
I made a big pot of soup, vegetable soup with carrots, potatoes, onions, celery. It took longer than I thought, but it was worth it.
That sounds delicious. I love homemade soup, especially when the weather gets cooler.
Me too. There's something comforting about a warm bowl of soup, isn't there?
There really is. And actually, that's perfect because today we're going to talk about cooking.
Yes, cooking. It's something we all do, or at least we all need to eat, right? So cooking is a big part of everyday life.
It is, and it's a great topic for practicing English because we use so many common words and phrases when we talk about food and cooking.
Exactly. So today, we're just going to have a relaxed conversation about cooking. What we like to make, what we don't like to make, and maybe some funny stories from the kitchen.
I have a few of those.
I'm sure you do. We all do, I think. So, Emma, do you cook often during the week?
I do, yeah. I try to cook most nights, maybe 4 or 5 nights a week. It depends on how busy I am.
That's quite a lot. What do you usually make on a regular weeknight?
Well, I try to keep it simple. On Monday or Tuesday, I might make pasta with tomato sauce and some vegetables. Wednesday, maybe rice with chicken. Or sometimes I make an omelet if I'm really tired.
An omelet for dinner?
Yeah, why not? It's fast, and if you add cheese and mushrooms, it feels like a real meal.
That's true. I do the same thing sometimes. When I'm too tired to cook something complicated, I just make eggs. Scrambled eggs with toast or an omelet, like you said.
Exactly, and there's nothing wrong with that. Not every meal needs to be fancy.
No, definitely not. I think when people think about cooking, they sometimes imagine these beautiful dishes from restaurants. But most of the time, we're just making simple, everyday food, right?
And that's perfectly fine. What about you, Jack? Do you cook every day?
Not every day, no. I cook maybe 5 times a week. The other days, I either eat leftovers or I order something. Sometimes I'm just too tired after work.
I understand that feeling. After a long day, the last thing you want to do is stand in the kitchen for an hour.
Exactly. But leftovers are great. If I make soup or a big dish, I always make extra so I can eat it the next day.
That's smart. I do that too. Especially with things like curry or stew, they actually taste better the next day.
They do. The flavors, they have time to mix together. It's like the ingredients become friends overnight.
That's a nice way to put it. So, Jack, is there a dish that you really love to make, like your favorite thing to cook?
I think my favorite is probably spaghetti bolognese. You know, pasta with meat sauce.
Oh, that's a good one. That's very popular.
Yeah, I make it from scratch. That means I don't use sauce from a jar. I make the sauce myself with fresh tomatoes, ground beef, onions, garlic, and some herbs.
From scratch, that's when you make something completely by yourself, using basic ingredients. You're not using anything pre-made, right?
Right, and it takes a bit longer, maybe an hour or so, but it tastes so much better than the sauce you buy in a bottle.
I believe that. There's something special about making things from scratch. You can control exactly what goes in, how much salt, how much garlic.
Exactly, and I always make a big pot, so I freeze half of it. Then 2 weeks later, I have an easy dinner ready. I just need to boil some pasta.
That's really clever. I should do that more often. It's like preparing a meal for your future self.
Yes, exactly. Future Jack is always grateful. What about you? Do you have a favorite dish to make?
I think I really enjoy making stir fry.
Stir fry?
Yeah, you know when you cook vegetables and maybe some chicken or shrimp in a hot pan very quickly with a little bit of oil and soy sauce.
Ah, yes, stir fry. That's Chinese style cooking, right?
Kind of, yeah. It's fast, it's healthy, and you can use whatever vegetables you have, broccoli, bell peppers, carrots, snow peas, whatever's in your fridge.
And it looks impressive too, like you're a real chef.
Maybe a little bit, but honestly, it's not that difficult once you get the hang of it.
Once you get the hang of it, that means once you learn how to do it well. After you try it a few times, it becomes easier and more natural, right?
The first time I made stir fry, I burned the garlic and the vegetables were too soft. They were like mushy.
Mushy. Yeah, that happens when you cook vegetables too long. They lose their crunch.
Exactly. But now I know to keep the heat high and move everything around quickly. You have to keep stirring. That's the key.
Yeah, that's the trick. High heat and keep stirring. Otherwise, everything just steams instead of frying.
Right. It took me a while to figure that out, but now I feel confident making it.
That's great. So Emma, when did you start cooking? Like, do you remember the first time you really cooked something by yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I started cooking when I went to university. I was living in a small apartment with a roommate, and we couldn't afford to eat out every day.
So you had to learn.
Yeah, we had no choice. My mom gave me a few simple recipes before I left home, things like how to make rice, how to cook chicken properly, and how to boil pasta without it sticking together. Basic stuff.
That's sweet. Did you call her for help?
All the time. I remember calling her once because I didn't know how long to boil eggs. She was very patient with me. She would explain everything step by step.
That's really nice. My mom did the same thing. She taught me how to make a few dishes before I moved out. I think the first real meal I made was fried rice.
Fried rice is a good one to start with.
It is. You just need rice, some eggs, vegetables, maybe a little bit of meat, and you mix it all together in a pan. It's very forgiving.
Forgiving? That's a good word. It means even if you make a small mistake, the dish will still be okay, right?
Right, and if you mess it up, it still tastes decent. Maybe not perfect, but edible.
That's true. Speaking of messing things up, we should talk about kitchen disasters.
Oh no, do you have a story?
I have several, but there's one I'll never forget. I was trying to make chocolate chip cookies for the first time.
Okay.
I followed the recipe exactly, or at least I thought I did, but when I took the cookies out of the oven, they were completely flat and hard, like little brown discs.
Oh no, what happened?
I used salt instead of sugar. I grabbed the wrong container.
Oh no, that's terrible.
They were so salty we couldn't eat them. I had to throw the whole batch away.
That must have been frustrating.
It was. I felt like I wasted all that time and all those ingredients. But you'll learn from mistakes, right? Now I always taste the ingredients before I add them, just to be sure.
That's smart. I have a similar story. I was trying to bake a cake for my sister's birthday.
Oh, what happened?
I followed the recipe exactly, or at least I thought I did. But when I took the cake out of the oven, it was completely flat like a pancake. It didn't rise at all.
What went wrong?
I forgot to add baking powder. Baking powder is the ingredient that makes cakes rise, makes them fluffy and tall. Without it, the cake just stays flat.
Ah, so it was like a very thick, dense thing.
Exactly. It tasted fine, but it looked terrible. My sister laughed so hard when she saw it.
At least she had a sense of humor about it.
She did, and we ate it anyway. It was more like a very thick cookie. We put some frosting on top and pretended it was supposed to look like that.
That's a good attitude. I think everyone has a story like that. I once made soup and I added way too much salt.
Ugh, that's the worst. You can't really fix that, can you?
No, you can't. I tried adding more water, but it was still too salty. In the end, I had to throw it away. It was such a waste.
That must have been frustrating.
It was. I felt like I wasted all that time and all those ingredients. But you learn from mistakes, right?
You do. Now I always double check the recipe before I start. I read it 2 or 3 times to make sure I understand all the steps.
That's a good habit. I do that now too, and I measure everything carefully, especially when I'm baking.
Baking is very precise. If you're making soup or stir fry, you can add a little more of this or that. It doesn't matter so much. You can adjust as you go.
That's true. Baking is like science. You need the right amounts, the right temperature, the right time. Everything has to be exact.
Which is probably why I don't bake very often. I prefer cooking where I can be a bit more flexible.
Fair enough. So, Jack, do you ever cook for other people, like for friends or family?
I do, yeah. I enjoy cooking for others, actually. It feels nice to share a meal with people you care about.
It does. There's something really warm about that. When do you usually cook for others?
Sometimes on the weekend, I'll invite a few friends over for dinner. Nothing fancy, just pasta or maybe that bolognese I mentioned earlier. Or sometimes I'll make a roast chicken with vegetables.
That sounds lovely. And do they help you cook, or do you do everything yourself?
It depends. Sometimes they just sit at the kitchen table and talk to me while I cook. We have a glass of wine, we chat. It's very relaxed.
That sounds nice.
Other times, someone will offer to help. They might chop vegetables or set the table. It makes the whole thing feel more communal.
Communal? That means shared, like everyone is participating together, right?
It's not just about the food, it's about the whole experience of being together.
Exactly. I like when people help. It makes cooking feel less like work and more like spending time together.
Exactly. It becomes an activity we do together, not just something I do for them.
Right. I remember when I was younger, my whole family would get together on Sundays. Get together means we would meet and spend time together, usually at my parents' house.
That sounds lovely.
It was, and my mom would cook a big lunch. Roast chicken, potatoes, salad, vegetables, everything. The table would be completely full of food.
What was your favorite dish that she made?
Probably her roasted potatoes. She would make them crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. I still haven't figured out how she does it so perfectly.
Some things are like magic, aren't they? My dad makes the best scrambled eggs, and I've tried to copy him so many times, but mine never taste quite the same.
Maybe it's not just about the technique. Maybe it's about the memories and the feeling that makes the food taste special.
That's a nice thought. I like that.
And sometimes my dad would help my mom in the kitchen. They would talk and laugh, and we could smell the food cooking. It made the whole house feel warm.
Those are special memories.
They are. And now when I cook for my own family or friends, I think about those Sunday lunches. It's not just about eating. It's about being together, sharing stories, laughing.
I completely agree. Food brings people together in a way that nothing else really does.
It really does. Even if the food isn't perfect, people appreciate the effort you made.
That's true. I think people care more about the thought and the time you spent, not whether the sauce is exactly right or whether the chicken is perfectly seasoned.
Exactly. It's the gesture that matters.
Right. So, Emma, if someone is listening right now and they don't cook very much, what would you say to them? What advice would you give?
I would say just start with something small. You don't need to make a fancy meal. Pick one simple dish and try it.
Like what?
Maybe scrambled eggs and toast for breakfast, or boiled pasta with butter and cheese, something that only has a few ingredients and a few steps.
And once they feel comfortable with that, then they can try something a little bit more complicated. Maybe add some vegetables to the pasta, or make a simple tomato sauce with canned tomatoes, garlic, and olive oil, step by step.
That's a good approach. Exactly. You get the hang of it slowly, gradually. And the more you cook, the more confident you become.
That's really good advice. I think a lot of people are afraid to try because they think they'll make mistakes.
But mistakes are part of learning. My salty cookies, your flat cake, these things happen to everyone.
They do. And honestly, even now, things don't always turn out perfectly.
Turn out. That means how something ends up, how it results, like the cake turned out well, or the soup didn't turn out the way I wanted.
Right, and that's okay. Not every meal will be amazing. Some would just be fine, and that's good enough.
Absolutely. The important thing is to give it a try. That means to attempt it, to make an effort, even if you're not sure how it will turn out.
Exactly. Give it a try. You might surprise yourself. You might discover that you actually enjoy cooking.
And if it doesn't work out, you can always order pizza.
That's true. There's no shame in that. We all do it sometimes.
None at all. But I will say there's something really satisfying about eating something you made yourself.
There is. Even if it's just a simple sandwich or a bowl of soup, when you made it with your own hands, it feels different.
It does. You feel proud, like, I did this. I created this meal.
Yeah, and I think that's what keeps people cooking, that little feeling of accomplishment.
You do. And over time, you build up a collection of dishes you know how to make. Your go-to meals.
Your go-to meals. Those are the dishes you make often because you know them well and they always work. They're reliable.
Right. For me, it's omelets, fried rice, and roasted chicken. Those are my 3 go-to meals. I can make them without even thinking.
Mine are probably pasta, soup, and stir-fry. Simple but reliable.
Reliable is a good word for it. You know what you're getting. There are no surprises.
Exactly. And once in a while, maybe once a month, I'll try something new, a recipe I saw online or something a friend told me about.
Once in a while. That means occasionally, not often. Maybe once every few weeks or once a month, right?
I don't try new recipes all the time, but once in a while, it's fun to experiment. It keeps things interesting.
Same here. Last month, I tried making homemade pizza for the first time.
Oh, how did it go?
It was actually pretty good. The dough was a bit tricky to work with, but the taste was great. Much better than I expected.
That's wonderful. See, you never know until you try.
Exactly. And sometimes those experiments become new favorites. Now I want to make pizza again and try different toppings.
That's the spirit. That's exactly the attitude people should have about cooking.
I agree. It should be fun, not stressful.
Right. It's not a test. You're not being graded. You're just making food to eat and enjoy.
Exactly. And even professional chefs make mistakes. They burn things, they add too much salt. It happens to everyone.
That's a good point. Nobody's perfect, not even the people who cook for a living.
No. So we shouldn't expect perfection from ourselves, especially when we're just learning.
Absolutely. Be patient with yourself. That's important.
It is. So I think the message we want to share today is pretty simple.
What's that?
Cooking doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just start with something small. Be patient with yourself and enjoy the process.
I love that. Enjoy the process. It's not just about the final dish. It's about the time you spend in the kitchen, the smells, the sounds, the feeling of creating something.
The little moment when you taste something and it's actually good.
Yes, that moment is the best. When you take that first bite and you think, hey, this is actually pretty delicious.
It really is. It makes all the effort worth it.
It does. Well, Emma, I think we've talked about cooking for quite a while now.
We have. Time really does go by fast when you're having a good conversation.
It does, and I hope everyone listening enjoyed this conversation too. I hope you found it helpful and maybe even inspiring.
I hope so too, and maybe you'll try cooking something new this week.
That would be wonderful. It doesn't have to be anything big, just something small, something you feel like making, even if it's just a simple pasta dish or a bowl of soup.
Exactly. Start small and see how it goes.
And if you do cook something, we'd love to hear about it.
We would. You can leave a comment and tell us what you made, or tell us about your favorite dish to cook, or maybe share a funny kitchen disaster story.
We love reading your comments. It helps us feel connected to you, and it helps us understand what topics you're interested in.
It really does. So please share your thoughts with us. We read every comment.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Easy English Talk Daily.
Yes, subscribe so you don't miss our future conversations. We have so many more topics we want to talk about with you. Next week, we might talk about shopping or hobbies or travel. Lots of interesting conversations coming up.
And if you found this helpful, give it a like. It helps other people find us too, which means more people can improve their English.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. It really means a lot to us that you're here.
Thank you. We really appreciate you being here and listening to us talk.
Take care of yourself, and we'll talk to you again very soon. Until next time, happy cooking!
Happy cooking, everyone, and happy learning.
Goodbye!
Goodbye.